Hello and welcome to this Cim50 Manufacturing versus Sage50 Manufacturing webinar. My name is Martin Connor. I'm a manufacturing specialist here at Cim Software. Please feel free to make a note of my email address and the website cim50.co.uk for further details, brochures, feature guides and case studies. Today I'll be taking you through the key differences between Sage50 Manufacturing and Cim50 Manufacturing and the reasons why you might want to move from the now defunct Sage50 Manufacturing. So a little bit of an agenda for you. For those of you who don't know us, who are Cim Software, I'll take you through the timeline of Cim50, an overview and some of the benefits. Okay, we then drop into a demo of Cim50 Manufacturing. I'll only be focusing on the key features today and the key differences between Sage50 Manufacturing and Cim50. We've added some great features over and above Sage50 Manufacturing. So I'll take you through those. They would then drop into sort of the commercial side of things and then talk about next steps and questions, how you can get those answered. So who are Cim Software then? So we're an award-winning manufacturing software developer. We're the top tier of Sage developers. We're a Sage Tech Partner Plus. And what that means is that we have products on the Sage price list that are fully accredited by Sage, have been tested, have been independently tested, and are endorsed by Sage and promoted by Sage and their partners. We have a network of partners that resell our manufacturing software solutions. Our team is made up of quite a number of years of experience of using, implementing, supporting, and developing manufacturing software. We've been around since the mid-90s as a partner and Sage developer, and have implemented ourselves well over 350 Sage 50 and Sage 200 sites across the UK. So Cim50 then, it's all about improving what Sage 50 accounts has, building on the success of the Sage 50 manufacturing to streamline your processes to make you more efficient, maximizing your profitability, so making sure that you're sort of making the money where you should be, and ensure greater accuracy, okay, across the whole business. So a bit of a timeline of Cim50. So for those that don't know, we've been involved with Sage 50 manufacturing since before it was a Sage product, and we built a business on Sage 50 manufacturing. But in 2015, we sat down as a business and started to scope out our own solution. So we could see that Sage 50 manufacturing wasn't really being developed, and we'd developed a number of bespoke solutions. Sage 50 manufacturing was a great product, but it was mature and it did need a refresh. So we felt that we would take on that task. We finished the development work in May 2017, so there's a couple of years of planning and development. We released that to beta sites, and in August of 2017 we went to full release, and all 3 beta sites that took our software back in May 2017 are still using the software today, and some appear as case studies on our website. In August 2020, we became a Sage accredited solution after a 3 to 6 month negotiation and testing period. And we've continued to develop the solution and added a graphical scheduler module in October 23, and we still continue to develop. Prior to that, we developed a shop floor data capture module as well, basically being able to barcode anything. So an overview of Cim50. It is fully integrated with Sage 50 Accounts Professional with the latest versions. Okay, so we keep on top of that. If you're currently using Sage 50 Manufacturing, you'll be stuck back on at the very best 27.2. Okay, so you're unable to take advantage of the latest features within Sage 50 Accounts and the latest version, but with Cim50 we keep you up to date. It is fully accredited by Sage, and it is also the recommended replacement for the now defunct Sage 50 Manufacturing. And if you're not aware, Sage 50 Manufacturing was end of life in September of 2021. So it's coming up to nearly 3 years now for that end of life. Within our solution, we've got well over 150 additional features, and on our website, we do have some comparison guides, so feel free to sort of dig into that and have a look at the additional features that we provide. With moving to any solution, the biggest challenge, I would say, is retaining your data. Okay, so what we've done is we've provided a migration tool to take all of the Sage 50 manufacturing data, regardless of the variant you're using, bill of materials, batch controller, job controller, manufacturing controller, across to the relevant modules within Cim50. Okay, so you do not lose any data at all. And what we would do, or our partners would do, is generally they would carry out a test migration to ensure that you can the data is as you expect. So you'd carry out your training and your testing on that data and go live at a date of your choosing, okay, with a fresh migration. And then what we can do is we can get you upgraded to the latest version of accounts as well. It is scalable. It's made up of 7 modules, more about that in a moment. So depending on the variant of Sage 50 manufacturing that you're currently using will depend on the modules that you take. And you may also want to take 1 or 2 of the additional modules that we've added, such as the shop floor data capture, barcoding, and the graphical scheduler for planning your shop floor resources and overcoming conflicts and overloads. It is now trusted by around, well, I think we've just tipped over the 500, but around the 500 sites, which is equivalent to about 2,500 users, okay, using our Cim50 solution on a daily basis. And that is continuing to grow. So well established, around 500 sites, 2,500 users, and the solution has been out in the marketplace now for around 7 years. So well established as a solution. So more about the modules then. As I said, there's 7 in the range. So we've got stock control. Okay, so enhancing the stock control which Sage 50 brings to the party. We've brought a number of the Sage 50 manufacturing features into our stock control modules, such as the product information, traceability, delivery notes, okay, and added additional functionality like stock take features, okay, for whether it's batch or serial numbered. With batch and serial number, that can be by item, okay, not all or nothing as it is with Sage 50 manufacturing. And as I say, we've introduced serial number tracking as well. Okay, so if you've got a need for serial number tracking, then we can provide that. And that sometimes is only a handful of products, so we can deal with that because you can switch it on and off by product. Bill of materials, we've retained the multi-level, multi-component. We also have costing history, so we've added some additional functionality there, and audit logging. Okay, so any changes made to a bill of material is captured within the audit log. So somebody removes a component, adds a component, changes an operation runtime, that is all captured within the audit log. Okay, we've also, it's worth mentioning, got audit logs on our stock items and works orders. Okay, so some additional analysis there across the key modules. Our works order module allows you to manage the production. We've got work in progress valuations, resource and capacity planning. Okay, most of the time what I'm doing is I'm just talking about the sort of the additional features that Cim50 Manufacturing's got over Sage 50 Manufacturing. You can pretty much assume that we've got 99.9% of the functionality that Sage 50 Manufacturing provides. And if we haven't got it, it's probably because it wasn't relevant or we've got a replacement for it. Okay. Within works orders, we've got the ability to do trial kitting by works order or multiple works orders. And while we're talking about trial kitting, we've got multiple item trial kitting in bills of materials as well. Our planning module is where you will find the MRP to help you meet customer due dates and deadlines. We've made some improvements there for greater visibility of why a recommendation has come about. We've overcome the issue where an item is below its reorder level and you go around in a bit of a loop with Sage 50 Manufacturing, which tells you to cancel the purchase order, to raise a new purchase order, which is later than the original one. So we've overcome that, okay, with the Cim50 Manufacturing, okay, planning module. Our quotations module replaces estimates. So if you've got job controller or manufacturing controller, you use estimates. We've got our quotations. Within there, we've got multi-item quotation, multi-quantity break quotations. We can pull in an existing bill of material, an existing works order, okay, into a quotation. And manipulate that. We've got free stock items or non-stock items. All of that can be taken care of, and then you can take that off to the various different areas of the business. So raise a bill of material, a stock item, sales order, works order, depending on what suits you. We then got our shop floor data capture module, okay, for barcoding. Pretty much barcode anything. So goods receipts, dispatches to sales orders, allocations and issues to works orders, completions of works orders, stock takes, okay, bomb builds, reversals, those sort of things, okay, as well as capturing actual labour times against works orders, okay, which is if you use the Sage 50 Manufacturing op times module, then that would replace that. Okay. We've then got our newest module, which is the graphical scheduler, which is a visual sort of representation of your production and your works orders to give you the ability to drag and drop operations to overcome conflicts and overloads across your resources. That could be labor or machine or both if you wanted to. We can deal with the subcontract processes and they leave the business. That's all taken into account. And that module is fully integrated with Cim50, okay, works orders. So giving you the ability to drag those operations into the graphical scheduler, manipulate that data and send that back to works orders, okay, to update dates on works order start and end dates, operation dates, and update any work to lists that you might be using within the Cim50 solution. Okay. I'm not going to really have time to sort of go into the graphical scheduler today, but we do have on our YouTube channel a 30-minute overview specific to that module. And what I will also be doing is specific overviews of each of the modules, okay, in the coming weeks or so. So watch out for those on our YouTube channel if they're not already there. Okay, and all of these modules are fully integrated with Sage 50 Accounts Professional. So the key benefits then, what are we trying to achieve by the Cim50 solution? So accuracy, we don't want to be duplicating data entry. We want efficiency within the system, so several functions are performed with one data entry. So my example there is goods receipt of a purchase order. We're updating the purchase order in Sage 50 accounts. We're updating stock, traceability information, printing labels if we wanted to, be able to view the works order that needs those goods and allocate it to there, print off goods receipt notes, labels if we wanted to, all within one function. And there's a number of examples of that right across the solution to make your business more efficient. We've tried to make it simple as well. Although they are two logins, much the same as Sage 50 Manufacturing, because we can't write inside of Sage 50 accounts, they act as one system. And believe it or not, we feel that we have a more integrated solution than the Sage manufacturing solution. And examples of that are within the stock control, because you can get to all of the stock fields within the Cim50 stock control module. Okay, so the nominal codes, the VAT codes are all available within Cim50. So you shouldn't have to leave Cim50 to be able to update or create stock codes. And it is a reliable system. We're always using live data. Okay, it's always being kept up to date. We do a number of checks and balances between the two systems as well. Okay, and take care of any of those inconsistencies and highlight those to you, rather than you having to run maintenance when you feel that it's relevant. Okay, the system will do a lot of that for you and highlight any problems. Okay, because we are fully integrated and we want to make it as reliable as possible. Okay, so if there are some of those traps that you've fallen into with Sage 50 Manufacturing, we've probably got them covered with Cim50. It's a sneak peek there of the sort of user interface. It is our take on it. It's got very similar sort of look and feel to the Sage 50 accounts, updated, most recent user interface. As I say, when we drop into the demo, sort of limited for sort of time, it's only going to be sort of 10 minutes or so. I'm going to just take you through some of the key features. Okay, so here's the Cim50 solution. I'm at our home screen. Okay, I've got the modules down the left hand side. That I've got all of the modules available to me. I've got some data information, as I said, those data checks. So if there are any problems, then they will be detailed here. That runs overnight. We don't need to, we can run it any time, but we don't need to. We can get that too. We've got some news. As you can see, we've got our latest versions. We keep up to date with the latest versions of Sage. Okay, and your subscription would include access to all of the latest versions of the Cim50 solution. So if we drop into the stock control, okay, so this is equivalent to product information within Sage 50 Manufacturing. We can see that we've got our list of items. So we can see that we've got a category, we've got quantities in stock, allocated, free stock, on order. Okay, last cost price is all available to, and they're fields from within Sage 50 accounts. So we don't have to leave Cim50 to get to that data. Okay, I can add columns, remove columns, I can filter data, I can search for data. So much the same as you can within Sage 50 Manufacturing and Sage 50 accounts. And if I look at a particular item, we can see here that the quantities are available. And if I go into the profile, which gives us our stock quantity breakdown, okay, which I'm sure you're familiar with within Sage 50 Manufacturing, but we've enhanced that further by including items on pro forma or in quarantine, because we have a quarantine area. Okay, so I can see that I've got a purchase order. We've retained the ability to drill to a purchase order, okay, within Sage. So just showing you the level of integration that we have with Sage. We've then got the profile. So in Sage 50 Manufacturing, this would be the stock projection in MRP and relied on MRP being run. But we don't have to do that within Cim50. We've got a real-time stock projection, so we can look to see what's happening in the future. So we can see that we've got our opening balance as it stands now. We've got 20 coming in tomorrow. We've got 100 going out to a works order on the 28th. Okay, we can, if we want to, see the MRP view. If we've run MRP, take into account the MRP recommendations as well. We've also got statistics. So this is a purchase item. So I've got number of receipts, on time and full, percentages late receipts, and we've also got cost variances by supplier. Okay, so all of this data is just being captured and dropped into one of our examples of a dashboard, and this data is all you have the ability to report on all of this data. Stock history from Sage is also accessible from Cim50 in various areas. So what can I do with the stock item? So if we go in and we receive goods, okay, from here we can also dispatch goods, create credit notes. So if I receive an item and I pick my purchase order, okay, we can see that we've got the two items on that purchase order. I can select by supplier, by product code, by due date. Okay, we can book items into quarantine. That could be set by default or not, or are not completely optional. Okay, we can see what jobs needed that item. So I'm not going to book that into quarantine, but I'm going to receive 10 of those. Okay, we're taking into account the alerts in Sage 50 accounts within Cim50. That's an example of what we've been able to influence Sage. So we got the alerts added to the Sage developer tools. This is a batch traceable item, which is auto-generated. So we're collecting that information as well as collecting details such as supplier batch numbers and certificate numbers and further descriptions, etc. We've also got the ability to attach documents to our batches. So if I come down here and maybe find this is just an old logo that I've got sort of hanging around. Okay, so I can open up. So that could be an Excel document, a Word document, a PDF, and that stays with that batch or serial number. Okay, so if I confirm that and receive those goods, I get the option to print a goods received note. Okay, which can be configured to suit your needs. We use Crystal Reports. And labels. Because I've told it to do so for this item, I'm printing a label. And you can see there that I've got a barcode on there which is utilized by our shop floor data capture module. And because it knows that there's a works order, it's asking me to want to allocate. I'm not going to do that for the time being. Okay, so that's taking care of the goods receipt. I'm just going to sort of introduce you quickly that, how did some of those things come about? We've got various check boxes. Do I print labels to book it into quarantine? We can see that we've got all of the financial information if we needed to, whether it's a traceable item or not. Okay, we've retained the suppliers. Okay, we've also got our carbon footprint calculator sort of values coming through. That's a feature that we won an innovation award with Sage for. More details about that on our website. Multiple units of measure in here, so we've got we could book in this case in each, but using meters I could add centimeters, millimeters, inches, kilos if I wanted to. We can deal with multiple manufacturing units of measure. All of the MRP details are pulled in together. You can see some familiar fields in here, but we've extended things like the aggregation, whether items can be included and excluded from MRP. This is where it gets the alerts from. We can have attached files for stock item, additional details, so CFC details, document details, web info from Sage. Again, that was hidden away. You couldn't get to that. Analysis field, so if you need to record details against a stock item, a bill of material, works order, BOM components, you name it, batch details, you've got 20 custom fields right across the module for each of those areas, which can be text fields, numeric fields, booleans, or checkbox, which are checkboxes, and you can have selection lists. We've got the audit log, so we can see the changes which are made by who, when, and what. If it says unknown, that was done in Sage because Sage doesn't record that information. So we'd recommend that you make any changes within Cim50. Stock history again, and batches by item. So we don't have to go off and do an odd sort of type of search to look for a stock item. We can look at it by stock item. And we can see the history and the details of that batch. Okay, so we've got end-to-end traceability by item, batch and serial numbers. We can come at the traceability in various different angles. So if we wanted to come at it from a supplier batch number, then we can. Okay, so supplier lets us know a batch number. We can drill into that information. I can look at the history and see that we've already booked some out. So we might be aware of a problem. We can inquire against a batch number. So if batch traceability is important to you, then we do have the ability to search by whatever information you wish. We can do stock adjustments in here, so any stock movement can be done within Cim50. We've got the quarantine area, so we can book items out of quarantine, say what's good, what's passed, what's been rejected, and that will book it back into free stock. We've got a stock take, so we can create a count. That could be for all items or specific items. Just keep it simple and do it for all items at the moment. That we can print count sheets, so we can distribute those. Again, can be laid out how you want them to be laid out. That can also be exported to Excel. So you might want to walk around with a tablet, filling in an Excel spreadsheet. And this is in the format that you need it to be able to import it back into Cim50. Once you're ready to update the count, then we can enter some details. I found that I only had 1,399 of those, so we've got a variance there. Okay, I can go off and count again and then come back again, and because I can save the progress if I wanted to, which I didn't do on that occasion. So it's just so I could save the progress, or I can update the count. I'm going to just update the count for by exception. I'm ignoring the items that didn't enter. That's been part completed. I'm going to say that it is fully complete now. And that's now been dropped into history. So I can see those details, and that would have updated the stock items within Cim50 within Sage instantly. Okay, so that's the stock control. As I say, it is a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but we just sort of move on to bills of materials. So we retain your bills of materials from Sage 50 Manufacturing. We've got all of the fields there. So we've got some additional fields with overhead percentages, manufacturing instructions, images, the components are still retained, the operations, okay, documents, drawing details, and the likes. Costings. This is where one of the sort of the key changes is that we keep costing history, so you can get a breakdown of that, and this is retained forever. So every time you recost a bill of material, that gets pulled through. We can also start to see our kg CO2 equivalent for our carbon footprint calculator, so you can offset your manufacturing with maybe the carbon trust. Analysis codes and audit logs. So if I was to go off and maybe change the quality standard, save that record, and when I come in and view that within the audit log, we can see that we've updated our quality standard. Okay, I have got some items in the future, okay, because I've just restored my data and rolled it forward. So these were done a little bit later in the day, on the day that I backed up this data. So that's why this one's sitting down here. Okay, if you use the trial kit facility, then we do have the ability, as well as trial kitting a single item, we can trial kit multiple items. So I've done that. So what it's done is it's combined those together. So we need some legs there as well, some tube for the legs. So it might be that I want to pop some pine in there. So we can add as many items as we like. Okay, and it will show us where we've maybe got a shortage. So we can start to see the shortages, and from here what we can do is we can raise purchase orders and works orders for those shortages. Okay, and lots of other information available to us of price cost breakdowns. We can get to the profile, so links to other parts of the system. Okay. We can build in here, we can reverse build. We've also got the ability to reverse build the current BOM. So if it was a kit of parts that you want to disassemble, we can. We also have the ability to reverse complete a works order. Okay, if you've got the works order module. We've retained all of the reports and the likes there as well. Moving on to planning. So if we read the demand schedule, which you will know as the MPS, we're also including at this stage reorder levels and works orders in the demands. Sage 50 Manufacturing doesn't do that until we run MRP. We get a summary, which we can of course review. Okay, our demands, so we can start to see our reorder levels coming in here. Okay, which doesn't happen until MRP within Sage 50 Manufacturing. If we're happy with that, we can then run the MRP again into the future. And we also have the ability to automate the demand schedule and the MRP runs. That could be at any time of the day. So you could have it running overnight if you wanted to. Okay, and you can set that up within the user interface. Okay. I can be selective about my replenishments. I can be selective about my demands. So if I wanted to just run it for a particular customer's sales orders, then I can. Okay. I'm going to run it for all items. Off it goes and starts to carry out those calculations. Okay. And we've now got our recommendations list. And within this recommendation list, it's we've changed a few things. So I've got demand date, order date, receipt date. You'll know that as due date, start date, end date. We've renamed these to make them a little bit more intuitive. We've also changed the way that the tags work. Okay, so if we were looking to raise orders and action recommendations for a particular sales order, it's very easy for us to find them. Okay, so sales order number 7 is for the teak desk. We need to make a drawer set. Okay, so it's a sub-assembly that goes into the desk. So it's telling us that that's for sales order number 7 because essentially it is. Okay, in Sage 50 Manufacturing, that would say that it was for recommendation number 5. Okay, and then we need to buy some locks for the drawer set. So again, that's referencing sales order number 7. Okay, if there's some aggregation happened, or it falls into the reorder quantity, then it will say multiple, and there we can see that we need to buy manufacture some legs for sales order number 7 and number 16. So hopefully that makes the recommendations a little bit more user friendly for you to be able to recognize which recommendations that you might want to action. So I'm going to action some of these recommendations. So I'll pick this one here. So if I go up and process action that recommendation, you can adjust it, do whatever you need to do to that. And that's now gone off and raised the purchase order in Sage in very much the same way as Sage 50 Manufacturing. It'll put the date on there, put the quantity on there, and it'll be available to print and process within Sage 50 Manufacturing. You'll see these reordered levels here. They're in red because they're below the reorder level now. So if I action these recommendations on a rerun MRP, they won't come back. We won't get a cancellation and raise. The system will recognize that there's a purchase order replenishment coming in within the time, the lead time, so there's no need to order anymore. Okay. I can then action this recommendation, so as to make some desks. So we'll go off and action those. Okay, so we've now got a works order, and if I go into the works orders, we can see that we have our works order that we've just raised. We can print documentation, so we can retain route cards, picking list, job sheets. We've added labels, so we've got a label that we can print up front on completion if we want to. So just show you examples of those. They should look quite familiar to you. Again, they can be laid out exactly how you want. We've got barcodes on there, so there's the label, the picking list, okay, with the components and where to pick them from, the route card with sales order detailed link information, the operations. Okay, what can we do with a works order? We can trial kit a works order or multiple works orders, so we can check to see if we've got any shortages. We can see that we've got some on order, and I can go off to the stock profile. So we're giving you links back to other areas of the software to make it more user friendly, allowing you to be more efficient. Okay. So we can allocate stock if we wanted to against the works order. We can issue stock. We can back flush. We've got all of that ability, all of that same ability. Complete a works order. You've got the ability to book actual labour times if you needed to. In Cim50 Manufacturing, you have had to have a manufacturing controller for that sort of functionality. We can still carry out the subcontract processes. The additional module that we've got is our carbon footprint calculator. So what that will do is it will give you an idea of what we need to offset with the carbon trust. Okay, I've not completed any works orders at the moment, so we haven't got any sort of real values coming through at the moment. But if and when you wanted to look into this in a little bit more detail, then we can cover that off. Okay. We've still on the stock control side of things retained the delivery notes to be able to combine multiple delivery notes and onto an invoice, combine multiple sales orders onto a delivery note. Okay. Our quotations, as I said, replaces the estimates. So within here, we can build items up. We can configure, which is basically a bill of material offline, and then we can turn that quotation into a sales order, turn it into a bill of material or works order, whichever route that you want to take that. Okay. So that's where we're going to leave the demo for now. Please, if this is of interest for you to replace your current Cim50 manufacturing, get in touch with us and we can take you through a more in-depth demonstration. Okay, so that concludes the demonstration. I'm just going to sort of wrap up here. So on the commercial side of things, there is a monthly subscription for the Cim50, which includes the software, support and updates. The price will depend on which of the 7 modules and the number of concurrent users that you will require for Cim50. And when I talk about concurrent, that's in the solution at the same time. And just to give you an idea of the price of the subscription, depending on your sort of the modules and the users, as I say, that price will vary. But our average price across the customer base is €295 per month or €345. Okay, and from an installation, data migration and consultancy point of view, to help you get the most out of that solution, to help you on that journey and that migration from Cim50 Manufacturing to Cim50. We want that to make that as painless as possible. By providing that data migration tool, it certainly makes it a lot easier and allows you to retain that historical data. We generally say that you need sort of between 4 and 10 days. Again, it depends on the modules that you take. It may be that you look to replace the 3 or 4 modules that you've currently got and then look to add further modules at a later stage, the graphical scheduler, the shop floor data capture, barcoding, etc. Okay. But please feel free to make contact if it's of interest and we can sort of talk about your individual circumstances accordingly. So that's where we're going to leave it. Thank you for joining me today. If you do have any questions or you want to discuss Cim50 further to replace your Cim50 manufacturing, which, as I say, is end of life now. There is no updates. It is holding you back as far as your Cim50 accounts is concerned. We don't know how long it's going to last. There could be a Windows update or something like that. We just don't know. Okay, we do have an accredited, viable alternative. So please get in touch. And in the meantime, you will find brochures, feature guides, comparison guides, and case studies at our website, cim50.co.uk. Nice and easy for you to get to navigate to that. So please feel free to have a look. Thank you very much.